And, I'll tell you this. If you don't believe me, then try this. Try it for 1 week. Try it engage in the next week with an attitude of sacrificial giving. Go the extra mile. Not once, not twice, but make it a conscious part of your day and try it for 1 week. 1 week. See what it does to you. If it does nothing, discard it, start next week fresh or back to the very way that you were. But if it does something, now you've learned something.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to our daily inspiration again. And just like every video, I'd like to start the video by thanking all of you for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully what we have here will be edifying for you. Well, for the past several days, I've been releasing a lot of videos of Father Carlos Martins sharing valuable lessons for us all to reflect together. And this video is another one that will hopefully be useful for your own spiritual growth.
It is the life of Christians. A Christian can have no life within him without being present at that sacrifice of Christ, because it is in that sacrifice that we are lifted up and given as a gift to the Father. The very reason why Jesus Christ incarnated himself and underwent his passion, death, and resurrection was at the request of God the Father, who asked the Son to go and redeem his lost people. And so we, who are the beneficiaries of that, if we don't honor that is the most ungrateful thing that one can ever imagine taking place. And Monday through Saturday then, in living a sacrificial offering ourselves. Right? So that is the point of Christian living. Right? What is a good guidepost in living a moral life? Well, where is the sacrificial dimension of our living? It's not that there is only sacrifice in our lives, but if our lives are void of genuine and real sacrifice, then we're not living as authentic Christians. We're not imitating Christ in his sacrifice, because our orientation has to be outward directed. We're at the service of the church, at the service of others who are not yet part of the church. And so we can participate in that glorious work of bringing them into the church. And indeed, we need to do that. We need to be part of that work. We need to sacrifice those things we desire and want, perhaps new clothes or some type of new gadget, new toy, some pampering, some food, in order to perhaps help out somebody less fortunate, or several who are less fortunate, to help out the church in its material needs and so forth. Our living has to be framed within the example of Jesus Christ, whose entire existence on earth was a self-giving. He made himself to be one continuous gift to all of those whom he met, and indeed even those whom he didn't encounter. For the human creature, the human creation, he gave himself as gift. And so that, friends, needs to be what buttresses our lives. That needs to be the signpost. It needs to be north on our compass. It needs to be the thing that directs us. And if we do that, we will find happiness. We will find happiness in this life and the next, because there will be meaning in our lives. And here, this is the paradox of human living, that we can only find happiness and find fulfillment in our lives when we make our lives to be a sincere gift for others. You gain your life back once you give it away. And, I'll tell you this. If you don't believe me, then try this. Try it for 1 week. Try it engage in the next week with an attitude of sacrificial giving. Go the extra mile. Not once, not twice, but make it a conscious part of your day and try it for 1 week. 1 week. See what it does to you. If it does nothing, discard it, start next week fresh or back to the very way that you were. But if it does something, now you've learned something.
One of Jesus' most explicit commands to us was his Great Commission from Matthew 28, verse 18 to 20. And Jesus coming spoke to them, saying, All power is given to me in heaven and in earth. Going therefore, teach ye all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you all days, even to the consummation of the world. Jesus is telling us that it is our Christian duty to spread the gospel and to cast our nets into the deep. We typically call this evangelization. Evangelization is simply understood as sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with others so that they make the decision to follow him, become his followers, and join his holy Catholic Church. This is not a simple task, and if you take up this sacred duty, in most cases you will never know if you are having an impact. Many people get discouraged, but you cannot lose heart because actively engaging in evangelization always has a positive impact. You just may not see it in this life. The most important thing that you need to know in regard to evangelizing others is that you cannot give what you do not have. If you do not know Jesus, pray daily, and live virtuously, then you cannot spread the gospel effectively. This does not mean you have to be perfect, but who will take you seriously if you are telling people to convert and follow Jesus Christ while getting drunk at parties, gossiping, stealing, and not practicing chastity? Also, if you do not have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, then who are you leading people to follow? Jesus is not an idea. He is a person we can have a relationship with, and who will change our lives for the better. It's important to realize that bringing others to Christ is not about you. It is about fostering a relationship. In this regard, you are not the one who converts anyone. You are simply dropping seeds along a person's journey through life in hopes that it will blossom and bear fruit. You can water these seeds with prayer and fasting, but it can only take root if the person is willing to cooperate with God's grace, whether they know what grace is or not. One of the most famous conversion stories of all time is the story of St. Augustine and St. Monica. St. Augustine was a partier, rolled with a gang, had a mistress and a child out of wedlock. He was brilliant but very worldly. St. Monica, his mother, was an ardent Catholic and follower of Christ, and she tried to convince St. Augustine to join the church. He was so prideful and intelligent that he brushed off her attempts with ease, utterly unpersuaded of the need to embrace Christ and his church. Little did either of them know that the seeds were sown, taking water but very slowly germinating. St. Monica prayed and wept for years. Yet St. Augustine made no movement towards Christ. And many years later he was prompted to listen to and meet St. Ambrose, and after listening to St. Ambrose, his eyes were opened and he eventually made his way into the Catholic Church. St. Monica was overjoyed, and St. Augustine became one of the greatest intellectual minds the Catholic Church has ever produced. And so, there are two major takeaways from this story. St. Monica never lost hope, and her prayer is what had the biggest impact on St. Augustine. And St. Monica dropped seeds. St. Ambrose dropped more seeds, but neither one of them converted St. Augustine. They just lived their lives praying, speaking, and living the gospel, and God put the right people in the right place at the right time. Well then, that is all for the video this time. As always, I hope you have learned a lot from this video, and remember, if there's any feedback or suggestion, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. And until the next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.